The Global Freedom Flotilla set sail across the Mediterranean with a bold purpose: to reach Gaza and deliver food, medicine, and humanitarian supplies to its people. Around 45 boats joined this extraordinary mission, each carrying activists, aid workers, and citizens from across the world. Among them was Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg, whose presence brought even greater international attention to the effort. The voyage quickly became high profile. The boats faced threats from above, with drones frequently spotted overhead. At times, incendiary devices were reported falling close to the vessels, raising fears of deliberate intimidation. Concerned about safety, Spain and Italy even sent ships to provide protection for their own citizens who had chosen to take part. What began as a humanitarian mission soon drew the eyes of governments, news agencies, and ordinary people worldwide. As the flotilla approached Gaza, the tension reached its peak. About 70 nautical miles from the coast, in international waters, Israeli naval forces closed in. One by one, commandos boarded the vessels. Video footage released by those on board showed passengers raising their hands in surrender as soldiers armed with rifles climbed aboard and secured the decks. The Israeli government described the operation as careful and controlled, insisting that the passengers were safe. They were taken toward Israeli ports, where officials said deportation procedures would begin, with most of those detained expected to be flown back to Europe. For the activists, however, the operation was not a demonstration of security, but a violation of international law. They argued that their mission was peaceful and purely humanitarian, aimed at breaking the isolation of Gaza by opening a corridor for aid. Their boats carried no weapons, only supplies for civilians living under blockade. The reaction around the world was immediate. Turkey condemned the interceptions in strong terms, describing them as acts of aggression and warning that civilian lives had been put at risk. Colombia ordered the expulsion of Israeli diplomats after it emerged that several of its citizens had been among those detained. Human rights organizations voiced alarm and demanded international investigations. Despite the interceptions, some vessels continued their journey toward Gaza. Organizers announced that they were determined to push forward, even in the face of overwhelming obstacles. Israel, on the other hand, declared it would not allow any boat to break through, describing the waters off Gaza as an active conflict zone. Officials insisted the flotilla was a political provocation, while the passengers maintained their mission was one of compassion and solidarity. Over the weeks that the flotilla sailed, it captured the world's attention. It became more than a mission to deliver food and medicine. It became a global statement. The participation of Greta Thunberg, already a symbol of youth-led activism, tied the voyage to broader struggles for justice, linking climate, human rights, and humanitarian causes. When the boats were intercepted, the confrontation did not simply end on the waves of the Mediterranean. It continued in the halls of diplomacy, in the streets where protests broke out, and across the media where the debate over the blockade of Gaza was reignited. For the passengers, the journey may end in deportation. But for the cause they represented, the voyage ensured that Gaza, once again, was impossible for the world to ignore.